Think you know our planet? Think again. Did you know there's a place where you can stand in 4 countries at once? Or that the wildest border on Earth isn't a straight line? Today, we are blasting through 100 geography fun facts that will completely change how you see the world. Pack your virtual bags, smash that subscribe button, and let's go. 1. As of 2026, there are 193 UN member states, or 195 if you include the 2 permanent observer states, the Holy See and Palestine. 2. Russia is the largest country in the world by land area, spanning 11 time zones. 3. Vatican City is the smallest country in the world, at just about 0.44 square kilometers, 0.17 square miles. 4. India overtook China in 2023 to become the world's most populous country, with an estimated 1.44 plus billion people in 2026. 5. China's population has been gradually declining since around 2022, even as it remains the world's 2nd most populous country. 6. Africa is the only continent spanning all 4 hemispheres, north, south, east, and west. 7. Africa has the most countries of any continent, with 54 sovereign nations. 8. Russia spans 2 continents, Europe and Asia, with about 77% of its territory lying in Asia. 9. The Sahara Desert is roughly the size of the entire United States. 10. Kazakhstan is the largest landlocked country in the world. 11. The Pacific Ocean is the largest and deepest ocean, covering about 1/3 of the Earth's surface. 12. The Mariana Trench Challenger Deep is the deepest known point in Earth's oceans, plunging to nearly 11,000 meters, about 36,000 feet. 13. The Dead Sea is one of the saltiest bodies of water on Earth, so dense that people float easily on its surface. 14. The Dead Sea shoreline is the lowest point on land, at roughly 430 meters below sea level. 15. Lake Baikal in Russia is the world's deepest and oldest freshwater lake, holding about 20% of the planet's unfrozen freshwater. 16. The Amazon River discharges more water than the next several largest rivers in the world combined. 17. Whether the Nile or the Amazon is the world's longest river is still debated, depending on exactly how each river's source and length are measured. 18. The Caspian Sea is the largest inland body of water on Earth, technically a lake despite its name. 19. Antarctica holds roughly 60–70% of the world's fresh water, locked away as ice. 20. Lake Superior is the largest freshwater lake in the world by surface area. 21. Mount Everest is the highest mountain above sea level, at 8,849 meters, 29,032 feet. 22. Measured from base to peak, Mauna Kea in Hawaii is actually taller than Mount Everest. Much of it is just underwater. 23. The Andes is the longest continental mountain range in the world, stretching about 7,000 kilometers along South America's western edge. 24. The Himalayas are still growing taller each year as the Indian and Eurasian tectonic plates continue to collide. 25. Africa's Great Rift Valley is slowly splitting the continent apart, and could eventually create a new ocean over millions of years. 26. The Grand Canyon is roughly 277 miles long, up to 18 miles wide, and over a mile deep in places. 27. Uluru in Australia is one of the world's largest monoliths, a single massive rock formation rising from a desert. 28. The Atacama Desert in Chile is one of the driest places on Earth, with some areas that have never recorded measurable rainfall. 29. Antarctica is technically classified as a desert. It's the driest continent on Earth despite being covered in ice. 30. Death Valley in California holds the record for the highest reliably recorded air temperature on Earth, at 56.7 degrees Celsius 134 degrees Fahrenheit in 1913, though some more recent extreme readings remain disputed. 31. Tokyo is the most populous metropolitan area in the world, with tens of millions of residents in its greater urban area. 32. Vatican City, despite being its own country, is entirely surrounded by the city of Rome. 33. Istanbul is the only major city in the world that spans 2 continents, straddling Europe and Asia across the Bosphorus Strait. 34. La Paz, Bolivia, is the highest administrative capital city in the world, sitting at over 3,600 meters, about 11,900 feet, above sea level. 35. Ciudad Juarez sits directly across the border from El Paso, Texas, making them one of the largest binational metro areas in the world. 36. Singapore is both a city and a sovereign country, with no separate rural areas outside its urban core. 37. Rome is often called the Eternal City and has been continuously inhabited for roughly 3,000 years. 38. Detroit, Michigan, and Windsor, Canada, face each other across the river in a rare case where you travel south to cross from the US into Canada. 39. Brasilia, Brazil's capital, was built from scratch in the late 1950s specifically to serve as the new capital city. 40. Longyearbyen, Norway, located in the Arctic archipelago of Svalbard, is one of the northernmost permanently inhabited towns in the world. 41. France technically spans more time zones than any other country, due to its scattered overseas territories. 42. The border between the United States and Canada is the longest international land border in the world. 43. Kiribati, a Pacific island nation, spans so many longitude lines that it adjusted its time zone boundary to be among the first places on Earth to welcome each new day. 44. The line of actual control between India and China is one of the least precisely demarcated borders in the world, leading to ongoing disputes. 45. Bâle-Hertog and Bâle-Nassau are a Belgian and Dutch town so intertwined that the border runs through streets, yards, and even individual buildings. 46. Lesotho is one of only 3 countries in the world completely surrounded by a single other country, South Africa. 47. San Marino and Vatican City are the other 2 countries entirely enclaved within another nation, Italy. 48. The border between Norway and Russia is one of the most heavily monitored yet visually unassuming borders in Europe. 49. Nepal's flag is the only national flag in the world that isn't rectangular. 50. Australia is both the world's largest island and its smallest continent. 51. Mawsynram, India, is considered one of the wettest inhabited places on Earth, receiving extraordinary amounts of annual rainfall. 52. The Sahara Desert has occasionally received snowfall, despite being one of the hottest deserts on the planet. 53. Antarctica's Vostok Station recorded one of the coldest natural temperatures ever measured on Earth, around 89.2 degrees Celsius, 128.6 degrees Fahrenheit. 54. The equator passes through 13 countries across South America, Africa, and Asia. 55. Despite common assumption, the hottest places on Earth aren't always found right at the equator. Many of the most extreme deserts lie in subtropical latitudes instead. 56. Norway's Svalbard archipelago experiences months of continuous daylight in summer and continuous darkness in winter due to its extreme latitude. 57. Monsoon seasons dramatically reshape the climate and geography of South Asia every year, delivering the bulk of the region's annual rainfall in just a few months. 58. Iceland sits directly on the mid-Atlantic ridge, where the North American and Eurasian tectonic plates are visibly pulling apart. 59. The Ring of Fire, a horseshoe-shaped zone around the Pacific Ocean, is home to about 75% of the world's active volcanoes. 60. Yellowstone National Park sits atop a massive volcanic caldera, sometimes called a supervolcano. 61. Greenland is the world's largest island that isn't classified as a continent. 62. Indonesia is the largest archipelagic nation in the world, made up of over 17,000 islands. 63. Norway's coastline, including its fjords, is one of the longest in the world despite the country's relatively modest land area. 64. New Zealand's North and South Islands were formed by the same tectonic collision that created much of the country's mountainous terrain. 65. Madagascar split from mainland Africa tens of millions of years ago, allowing much of its wildlife to evolve in near total isolation. 66. The Maldives is one of the lowest-lying countries in the world, with an average elevation of only about 1.5 meters above sea level. 67. Japan is made up of thousands of islands, though its 4 main islands account for the vast majority of its land and population. 68. The Galapagos Islands sit at the meeting point of several ocean currents, contributing to their unusually diverse ecosystems. 69. Easter Island is one of the most remote inhabited islands on Earth, located over 3,500 kilometers from the nearest significant population center. 70. The Great Barrier Reef, though not technically an island, is the largest living structure on Earth, visible even from space. 71. Angel Falls in Venezuela is the world's tallest uninterrupted waterfall, dropping over 979 meters, 3,212 feet. 72. Victoria Falls, on the border of Zambia and Zimbabwe, is often cited as the largest waterfall in the world by combined width and height. 73. The Amazon rainforest produces roughly 20% of the world's oxygen, though estimates on the exact figure vary among researchers. 74. The Mississippi River system drains water from all or part of 31 U.S. states. 75. Lake Titicaca, straddling Peru and Bolivia, is one of the highest navigable lakes in the world. 76. The Ganges River is considered sacred in Hinduism and supports one of the most densely populated river basins on Earth. 77. The Okavango Delta in Botswana is one of the world's few major rivers that never reaches an ocean, instead spreading into a vast inland delta. 78. The Colorado River carved the Grand Canyon over the course of several million years. 79. The Danube flows through more countries than any other river in the world, passing through around 10 nations. 80. Niagara Falls isn't a single waterfall, but a combination of 3 distinct falls along the same stretch of the Niagara River. 81. The Point Nemo, in the South Pacific, is the location on Earth farthest from any land, sometimes called the oceanic pole of inaccessibility. 82. The Trans-Siberian Railway is the longest railway line in the world, spanning nearly 9,300 kilometers across Russia. 83. Ultima Thule, historically used to describe the northernmost habitable region known to ancient geographers, has since become shorthand for the edge of the known world. 84. The Prime Meridian, at 0 degrees longitude, passes through Greenwich, London, and was internationally agreed upon in 1884. 85. The international dateline roughly follows the 180 degrees meridian but zigzags around certain island nations to avoid splitting them into 2 different calendar days. 86. Timbuktu, in Mali, was once a major center of trade, scholarship, and Islamic learning, and remains a UNESCO World Heritage Site. 87. Chocolate Hills in the Philippines are a cluster of over 1,000 unusually uniform, dome-shaped hills whose exact geological origin is still debated. 88. The Rakat structure, or Eye of the Sahara, in Mauritania, is a massive circular geological formation clearly visible from space. 89. The Door to Hell, a burning natural gas crater in Turkmenistan, has been continuously alight for decades since it was first ignited. 90. Bir Toril, on the border of Egypt and Sudan, is one of the very few pieces of land on Earth unclaimed by any country. 91. Switzerland has 4 official national languages: German, French, Italian, and Romansh. 92. The African continent is home to over 2,000 distinct languages, more than any other continent. 93. Antarctica has no permanent residents or native population, only rotating scientists and support staff at research stations. 94. Mongolia has one of the lowest population densities of any country in the world, despite its substantial land area. 95. Monaco is one of the most densely populated countries on Earth, packing a large population into just about 2 square kilometers. 96. The city-state of Singapore imports the vast majority of its food and fresh water due to its extremely limited land area. 97. Bhutan measures national progress using a gross national happiness index alongside more traditional economic indicators. 98. The Trans-Alaska Pipeline stretches roughly 800 miles, carrying oil across some of the most remote terrain in North America. 99. The Suez Canal and Panama Canal are 2 of the most strategically important artificial waterways in the world, each dramatically shortening global shipping routes. 100. Despite centuries of map-making and modern satellite imagery, new geographic features, from underwater mountain ranges to remote uncharted caves, are still being discovered and mapped today.